r/Nosleep. Posted by Reddit user HorrorMode. I read bedtime stories to my kids. One of these stories scared me the most. One more story, please, Dad. Julius and Rachel cried out to me. I let go of the doorknob and turned the bedroom lamp back on, and walked over to Rachel's bed, sitting back down at the end of it. Okay, one more, but that's it. Last one, I said as they simultaneously nod their heads at me. I never understood children and their drug-like addiction to scaring the hell out of themselves. My children, Julius and Rachel, love scary stories. They can't sleep without hearing a few. And this was one of those nights. I had just finished reading 3 of them. One was about a ghost, another about a vampire, and then a story about a house cat that could transform into a lion and devour its enemies whenever it pleased. And that last one even scared me. No, not that one, Dad. We want that one over there, Rachel said, pointing to the closet. I opened the closet to find a book sitting atop a counter. It was completely white, with nothing in front of the back. No words, no images, nothing. I used my thumb to rapidly flip through the pages, and it let out an odor that clearly indicated its old age. While flapping through the book, it had no words. It was empty. Each page was completely blank. Honey, I said, still looking through the mysterious book. There's nothing here. Where'd you get this book anyway? I don't know. Ask Julius, he's the one who brought it home. Okay, well, nothing to read here, kids. It's completely blank, I replied, still flipping through its white pages while sitting at the edge of the bed. Julius came up to me. Here, Dad, let me show you. Rachel and I sat and watched as Julius took the book from my hands and placed it on the bed. We want a witch story, my son yelled with his left hand placed on top of the book. Okay, Dad, you can read now, he ended, climbing onto bed and sitting crisscross next to his sister. I paused for a moment, with a confused expression on my face, and then I opened the book. There were words now, entire paragraphs. I thought that I had somehow missed a section of the book, but at the same time I was quite certain that I'd gone through all the pages. Okay, guys. Last one, I slowly uttered, still confused. Ready? I began reading to them. There once was a woman who lived on the slopes of a dark and misty mountain, and from time to time, the villagers would summon the isolated woman by sacrificing one of their own people to her. The younger the sacrifice, the quicker the woman would come. The villagers called upon her for help. They called upon her to stop impending storms, plagues, diseases, and any other disasters that would come upon them. They named her the Evil Savior. On one dreadful day, the village was invaded by wild, rabid animals. People were being torn apart and eaten, with livestock consumed alongside their owners. The villagers had no choice. They could not wait any longer, lest every person in the village be consumed. They needed the woman to come quickly, so they could I stopped reading, slamming the book shut in disappointment of my 2 children. What kind of story? Okay, I said sternly. That's enough. This isn't an appropriate book for you guys. But Dad, please, we want to hear more, Rachel whined. I got up from the bed. No. I told him to go to sleep and took the book with me. As I sat in the kitchen going through the mysterious book into the late night, there was a loud knock at the front door. But when I opened it, no one was standing on the porch. Nothing. Just the sounds of wind along with some hooting owls. Dad! I ran to my children and swung their bedroom door wide open, hitting it against the wall. What is it? But they were asleep. I stood there and scanned their bedroom, my eyes steering left and right. Everything seemed to be fine, so I began slowly closing the door. And that's when I heard Julius whisper something. "What?" I replied. "Julius, was that you? I thought you were asleep, buddy." I didn't want to turn the bedroom light on and wake up Rachel, so I had squinted my eyes through the darkness to see my son. He sat up in his bed, his body a silhouette in front of the moonlit window. "Dad," he whispered, gesturing with his hands for me to come closer towards him. I sat on his bed. "What is it, buddy? You should go to sleep. You have school tomorrow. You know that, right?" He paused for a moment, occasionally poking his head out to see the hallway behind me. I looked back at the open bedroom door, confused as to why he kept looking there. "Dad," he began, "she said we're not safe here." "What? Who told you that?" He poked his tiny head from his bed again to look behind me towards the hallway, at the end of which the front door of the house was visible. "She said someone's coming for us, Dad," Julius whispered. "And she said the only way to stop them from hurting us is by giving her something." His gentle, eerie words sent a chill down my spine. But a moment after he said that, something else happened that absolutely petrified me. There was another ferocious knock at the door.